Have you ever wondered what truly shapes our lives? Is it the grand decisions, or perhaps the small, seemingly harmless choices we make every single day? Today, I want to tell you an ancient story, a final testament from a great Zen Master, holding a profound truth that perhaps many of us have unknowingly overlooked. His advice was simple, yet incredibly enigmatic. My child, remember one thing: never allow a cat into your life. And then he passed away. The room fell into stunned silence. A cat? Why a cat? The last words of an enlightened master were about a simple pet. The young disciple and all those present were utterly perplexed. This advice was not only strange but seemed utterly illogical. We often encounter similar situations in our lives, don't we? Sometimes a piece of advice, a story, or even a casual remark from someone initially seems meaningless, even a bit silly. It's like our grandparents telling us don't waste food, or don't stay up too late, which when we were young we often ignored, thinking, I know, you've told me 1,000 times. We couldn't see the deeper meaning behind those words, until time and experience taught us a lesson. The Master's dying words were just like that mysterious seed. They planted an unsettling question in the disciple's heart, forcing him to constantly ponder. Was the Master trying to say something deeper? An allegory perhaps? An important lesson about how we live and make decisions? Clearly, the cat here was not literally about a pet. It had to symbolize something much larger, something that could profoundly impact one's life. And to understand this, we need to go back in time, to the days when the Zen Master was a young man. Let's explore his life story, where the mystery of the cat will gradually be revealed. To understand that mysterious last wish, we need to travel back in time, to the younger days of our great Zen Master. Back then, he, like many who sought truth, had abandoned everything: his family, his wife and children, and his worldly life. He ventured deep into the forest, living a remarkably simple existence near a small village. Each day, he owned only 2 pieces of clothing, and begged for food to sustain himself. The villagers held him in immense respect, even building him a small bamboo hut to live in. Everything was peaceful until a minor problem arose. Rats began to sneak into his bamboo hut, and worse, they chewed on his precious few robes. This caused him considerable trouble. When he shared his concern with the villagers, one of them suggested an idea that sounded very logical. Master, why don't you keep a cat? It will drive the rats away. Sounds sensible, doesn't it? A simple, effective solution to a small problem. The young monk agreed, and a small kitten was brought to his hut. This was the first appearance of the cat in his life. Think about it, how many times in our own lives does a small problem arise, and we find a temporary, logical solution, without anticipating the consequences? For instance, you're trying to cut down on sweets, but then one stressful day, you think, just one small piece of cake to relieve the tension. Seems harmless, right? As expected, the cat did its job perfectly. The rats disappeared. But then a new problem arose. The cat needed to eat. The monk now had to go begging several times a day just to get milk for the cat. He shared this new concern with the villagers. They once again offered a more optimal solution. Instead of coming to the village many times a day for milk, why don't you keep a cow? You'll have milk for the cat, and for yourself too. The monk agreed. Now his life included a cow. But a cow also needed care, grass, and regular attention. How could a monk who spent most of his time meditating manage that? The villagers suggested yet another sensible solution. Master, there's a widow in our village with no family to support her. If you allow it, she could come and help you take care of the cow, the cat, and even your daily needs. Again, the monk saw nothing wrong with the idea. And so, the woman moved into his bamboo hut, managing everything from feeding the cow and the cat to maintaining the hut and cooking meals. Do you see how it unfolded? From a small rat to a cat, then a cow, and now a woman. Each step was rationalized. Each solution appeared to solve a smaller problem. But then what happened? Living under the same roof, working side by side, feelings gradually developed. The young monk, who once focused solely on meditation, now worked alongside the woman in his small field. They fell in love, married, and had a child. The man who once gave up everything to seek the truth was now living the very worldly life he had abandoned. He worked tirelessly to feed his family. Then one day, after a long day of labor, he sat down and asked himself, "What happened to me? I renounced this world to seek the truth, but now I've returned to that very world." He realized that everything, all of it, began with the cat. The monk's story is a powerful reminder of how small indulgences, seemingly harmless decisions, can lead us far astray from our original path. So, what does the cat truly represent here? And how can we recognize our own cats before they take over our lives? Let's delve deeper into the allegorical meaning of the cat in the next section. So we followed the journey of the young monk, from someone who abandoned everything to a man with a family, responsibilities, and the burdens of worldly life. It all began with that tiny cat. But could the great Zen Master, in his final words, truly be speaking about a pet in the literal sense? Of course not. When the Master said, "Never allow a cat into your life," he wasn't talking about literal cats. The cat here is a powerful metaphor for allowing our minds to indulge in the smallest of temptations, even for a seemingly harmless moment. It's the first door, the tiniest step we allow ourselves to take off the path we truly want to be on. This mechanism unfolds silently and subtly. Initially, these temptations offer immediate comfort, pleasure, or relief. We often tell ourselves, "Just this once, it's no big deal," or "I deserve this after a long, hard day." But that's exactly where the problem begins. Let's take examples from our own lives. Social media scrolling. You intend to just quickly check notifications, and then half an hour, sometimes even hours, disappear as you're sucked into a vortex of short videos and captivating images. That's a digital cat. Our brains are wired for dopamine, and these platforms are optimized to provide constant hits of it, making it hard to pull away. Unhealthy eating. We know that fast food and sweets aren't good for our health. Yet, when stressed or bored, the thought of just one bite of cake or a small tub of ice cream won't hurt creeps in. And then, once turns into many times, gradually affecting your health, energy, and overall life. This cat nibbles away at your well-being bit by bit. Procrastination. You have an important deadline, but instead of starting, you think, "I'll start in 5 minutes." Then 5 minutes turns into 15, 15 into an hour, and eventually, the work piles up, causing stress and reducing your productivity. This is the cat of procrastination. It gnaws at your time and opportunities. The biggest mistake we often make is underestimating the power of small behaviors, believing we can control them at any time. We think a small action won't become a habit. But that's a trap. The moment you give your mind a little freedom, it starts demanding more, and you fall into its trap without even realizing it. This is how addictions and bad habits are born. The lesson here is, it's the last straw that breaks the camel's back. No temptation is too small to be dismissed. Every cat we allow into our lives, no matter how tiny, has the potential to grow and control our entire existence, just as it happened to the young monk. Our minds are incredibly powerful. They can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So how do we control this friend/foe? How do we ensure our minds always serve our goals, instead of dragging us to places we never wanted to be? We'll explore that in the next section, the power and importance of mind control. In the previous section, we saw how the tiny cats of indulgence can subtly creep in and take over our lives. And the biggest accomplice, or perhaps our greatest protector, is our mind. It is such a powerful tool that the Zen Master himself stated, "The mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy." Imagine your mind as a powerful supercar. When it's well controlled, when it has a steady hand on the wheel, meaning you control it, it can take you anywhere you wish to go. It helps you focus, be creative, make sound decisions, and achieve all your life goals. It's the driving force for you to learn, grow, and build a meaningful life. But what if that car has no steering wheel, or the driver doesn't know how to control it? It becomes a runaway vehicle, speeding wildly with no direction. That is extremely dangerous. Similarly, an uncontrolled mind is like a train without tracks. It has speed, it has power, but it doesn't know where it's going, and it can drag you into the worst places you never wanted to be. You can clearly see this in everyday life. A person with an uncontrolled mind easily gets caught in negative loops: addiction, procrastination, anxiety, or negative thinking. They know it's wrong, but they can't stop. They feel stuck, dominated by fleeting desires or bad habits. It's like wanting to focus on work, but your mind keeps jumping from one idea to another, from one phone notification to the next, leaving you accomplishing nothing. The lesson here is clear. True freedom comes from mastering your mind, not letting your mind master you. Even the great monk in our story once gave his mind a little leverage, and that one choice brought him back into the very world he had once renounced. Allowing mental indulgence, even for a moment, can quietly take over your life before you even notice. So the question is, how do we learn to control our minds? How do we turn this potential enemy into our most reliable companion? Fortunately, there are specific methods and strategies we can apply. We'll explore those secrets in the next section, where we'll learn how to tame the cats of our minds. We've journeyed together through the story of the monk's cat, and understood that it symbolizes the mind's small indulgences. We've also realized that our minds can be a powerful tool, yet equally dangerous if left uncontrolled. So the big question is, how do we truly tame those cats? How do we become the masters of our minds, instead of letting them lead us astray? The first and most crucial step is to identify your own cats. Just like the young monk only realized the problem when his child was born, we often only see the consequences when the cat has grown powerful. Take a moment to ask yourself, what is subtly eating away at your time, energy, or goals? Are there small habits you repeatedly engage in that you know aren't good for you, but you do anyway? For example, do you often pick up your phone whenever you have a free moment without a specific purpose? Or do you frequently indulge yourself with junk food when you're stressed? Self-awareness, observing yourself without judgment, is key. Try journaling for a few days. Write down moments when you felt out of control, or when you did something you later regretted. You'll be surprised to see how many small cats are lurking in your life. Once you've identified the cat, the next step is to set clear boundaries. This means you need to create fences to prevent the cat from roaming freely. What are some practical examples? For the social media cat, set time limits for app usage on your phone. Turn off notifications for distracting apps during work hours. Or even try a digital detox by refraining from using your phone for a specific period during the day. For the unhealthy eating cat, don't buy and keep junk food in your house. When it's not readily available, you'll be less tempted. Instead, stock up on healthy options. For the procrastination cat, apply the time blocking technique, setting aside a specific block of time for a task and committing only to that task. Start with small tasks to build momentum. Beyond setting external boundaries, we need to build a strong internal wall of defense. That is, to train our minds. Mindfulness and meditation. These are incredibly powerful tools. Mindfulness helps you live fully in the present moment, observing your thoughts and emotions without getting carried away. Meditation is a way to train your focus, helping you notice when your mind wanders and gently bringing it back. You don't need to meditate for hours. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. Positive habits. Instead of letting the cat of indulgence fill the void, actively fill it with good friends. Read a book instead of scrolling social media. Exercise instead of sitting and watching TV. Learn a new skill instead of wasting time. Delayed gratification. This is the ability to forego immediate pleasure for a greater, more sustainable goal in the future. Practice this by setting small challenges for yourself. For example, if you want dessert, wait 30 minutes. If you want to check your phone, wait until you've completed a small task. The lesson here is, mind control is not an event, it's a continuous process. It requires patience, self-awareness, and consistent practice. Just like building a muscle, you need to work on it every day for it to grow stronger. And if you find your cat has grown too large, too difficult to control, don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or professionals. You are not alone on this journey. Taming the cats of your mind is not just a personal journey. It's also the key to creating a meaningful life, true to your real potential. In our final section, we'll summarize the lessons from the Zen Master and look towards the future. Are you ready to become the master of your life? We've embarked on a meaningful journey together, starting from the enigmatic last words of a great Zen master. We delved into his life story to see how a seemingly harmless cat gradually led him back to the very life he had once abandoned. And we've realized that the cat is a metaphor for the mind's small indulgences, things that, if left unchecked, can subtly take over our lives. The lesson from the Zen Master, though passed down through centuries, remains profoundly relevant today. It reminds us of the incredible power of the mind, a tool that can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It teaches us that true freedom doesn't come from escaping the external world, but from mastering our own internal world. Look at the lives of successful and happy people you know. Many of them aren't the smartest or the luckiest, but they are often the ones who have the best control over their minds. They know how to say no to small temptations, how to delay immediate gratification for larger, more sustainable goals. They don't let the cat of distraction, procrastination, or indulgence nibble away at their time and energy. For instance, a successful entrepreneur doesn't let the cat of aimless social media scrolling devour their valuable work time. An athlete doesn't let the cat of laziness or junk food sabotage their training regimen. The greatest lesson we can draw from the Zen Master's legacy is, your life is a masterpiece you are creating every single day. Every small choice, every moment you allow or refuse a cat, is painting the canvas of your life. Do not underestimate the power of small behaviors. They can be the seeds of profound change, whether positive or negative. So, after hearing this story, what will you do with the cats in your life? Will you continue to let them roam free and take up your space? Or will you start learning to identify, set boundaries, and control them? The choice is yours. Remember, the journey of mind mastery is a lifelong one, but every small step is worth it. If this story and these lessons have resonated with you, if you feel this is something you needed to hear, please leave a comment below. Share with me, what is the biggest cat in your life? Or what methods are you using to master your mind? Your sharing not only helps our Buddha's Pathway community, but also motivates me to create more valuable content. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. You definitely don't want to miss our next videos, where we'll continue our journey of self-mastery and finding inner peace. See you in the next video on Buddha's Pathway.